The fatal incident. The starship Harmony glided through the void like a silver needle threading between stars, its mission one of peace and diplomacy. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck, watching as the massive purple gas giant of Zephyr Prime grew larger in the view screen. Her reflection in the transparent aluminum showed a woman of 45, with streaks of silver in her dark hair and determined brown eyes that had seen countless negotiations across a dozen star systems. "Ambassador, we're approaching the security perimeter," Captain Mikhail Volkov announced over the comm system. "The Zephyrian escort ships are moving into position." Elena straightened her formal diplomatic attire, a blend of Earth's traditional blue and the ceremonial gold favored by most galactic powers. This meeting would be historic, the first formal diplomatic exchange between humanity and the mighty Zephyrian Empire, which controlled nearly a quarter of the known galaxy. Her team assembled behind her. Dr. James Chen, Sino-anthropologist, Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, Security Chief, and Marcus Thompson, her personal aide and translator. They had spent months preparing for this moment, studying every nuance of Zephyrian culture and protocol. The Zephyrians were humanoid, but stood nearly 8 feet tall, with iridescent skin that shifted colors based on their emotional state. Their empire was ancient, spanning thousands of years, and they viewed most younger species with barely concealed disdain. But they had requested this meeting, and that alone was significant. As the Harmony docked at the orbital station above Zephyr Prime, Elena felt the weight of Earth's hopes on her shoulders. Humanity had only been part of the galactic community for 50 years, still considered newcomers by most standards. This meeting could change everything. The airlock hissed open, revealing a delegation of Zephyrian officials. Their leader, High Chancellor Vexthor, towered over the humans, his skin rippling with shades of blue and green. Colors Elena knew indicated cautious welcome. "Ambassador Rodriguez," Vexthor's voice resonated like a deep bell. "The Empire welcomes you." Elena bowed precisely as protocol demanded. "High Chancellor, humanity is honored by your invitation." The procession moved through corridors of living crystal, the very walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. Elena couldn't help but marvel at the advanced biotechnology, far beyond anything Earth had achieved. They entered the Grand Chamber of Discourse, a vast amphitheater where thousands of Zephyrian nobles observed from tiered seats. At the center stood the throne of arbitration, where Emperor Zalthax himself would preside over the negotiations. But something felt wrong. Elena's diplomatic instincts, honed through years of service, detected an undercurrent of tension. The nobles' skin colors were predominantly red and orange, aggressive hues rarely seen in diplomatic settings. "Dr. Chen," she whispered, "are you seeing this?" Chen nodded grimly. "Their biometric readings are off the charts. Something's not right." The Emperor entered, his presence commanding absolute silence. Unlike his subjects, his skin remained a neutral gray, revealing nothing of his intentions. "Ambassador of Earth," his voice boomed, "you come before us seeking alliance. Tell us, why should the Empire treat with such a young, insignificant species?" Elena stepped forward, her voice steady despite the hostility radiating from the assembly. "Your Excellency, humanity offers unique perspectives and innovations. Our rapid advancement demonstrates our potential as valuable partners." A murmur rippled through the crowd, skin colors flashing in agitation. The Emperor raised a hand for silence. "You speak of advancement, yet your species still wages war among themselves. You pollute your own world. You are chaos incarnate." Elena maintained her composure. "We acknowledge our flaws, Your Excellency, but we also possess resilience, creativity, and an unmatched capacity for growth. These qualities—" She never finished the sentence. A searing beam of energy struck her chest, throwing her backward. The world exploded into chaos as more shots rang out. Lieutenant Martinez threw herself in front of Elena, taking another blast meant for the ambassador. Dr. Chen and Marcus rushed to Elena's side as security alarms blared throughout the chamber. Through the haze of pain, Alina saw Zephyrian guards cutting down her security detail. It wasn't an assassination attempt. It was a massacre. "Get word to Earth," she gasped, feeling her life ebbing away. "Tell them it was planned." The last thing she saw was High Chancellor Vexthor standing over her, his skin now blazing crimson with triumph. Captain Volkov watched in horror from the Harmony as the orbital station's weapons powered up. He had seconds to react. "Emergency jump! Now!" he roared. The ship's AI, detecting the imminent threat, engaged the experimental quantum drive. Space folded around them as the station's weapons fired, missing by microseconds. They emerged in Earth space, alarms screaming, hull scarred by near misses. Volkov immediately opened a channel to Earth Defense Command. "Priority Alpha transmission. Ambassador Rodriguez and her entire team have been murdered by the Zephyrian Empire. I repeat, this was a deliberate act of war." The news spread across Earth like wildfire. Every screen, every device, every communication channel carried the same message. Humanity's olive branch had been met with murder. In the United Earth Council chambers, President Maria Santos stood before the assembled leaders of every nation. Her face was carved from stone, her voice steel. "They invited us to talk peace, then slaughtered our people like animals," she declared. "They believe us weak, divided, insignificant. They will learn otherwise." The vote was unanimous. For the first time in its history, humanity spoke with one voice. War. Within hours, Earth's orbital shipyards hummed with activity. Mothballed warships from the last internal conflict were reactivated. New vessels, designed in secret after humanity's first contact with hostile aliens, began construction. In research facilities across the globe, scientists dusted off weapons projects deemed too dangerous for use against fellow humans. Quantum torpedoes, singularity bombs, nanoswarm missiles, humanity's darkest creations would see the light of day. The Zephyrians had made a fatal error. They judged humanity by their internal conflicts, not realizing that nothing unites humans like an external threat. They saw Earth's diversity as weakness, not understanding it was their greatest strength. As Admiral Chen Wei, Supreme Commander of Earth's newly formed Expeditionary Force, addressed his troops, his words were broadcast to every corner of human space. "They think us children playing at civilization. They believe their empire eternal, unassailable. They will learn that humans do not forgive. We do not forget, and when roused to war, we do not stop until our enemies are dust." The investigation into the massacre revealed the truth through recovered data from the Harmony sensors. The Zephyrians had planned the murder from the beginning, seeing humanity's growing influence as a threat to their dominion. They had intended to destroy the Harmony as well, erasing all evidence of their treachery, but they had failed to account for human ingenuity, for Captain Volkov's quick thinking, for the experimental drive that saved his ship. Now they would face the consequences. Across human space, the war machine awakened. Factories that once produced consumer goods now churned out weapons. Citizens volunteered by the millions. Old rivals became allies overnight. The Zephyrian Empire had awakened a sleeping giant. They had united humanity not through diplomacy, but through shared grief and rage. They had given humans what they needed most, a common enemy. As the First Fleet departed Earth's system, their quantum signatures lighting up space like new stars, a message was broadcast on all frequencies. To the Zephyrian Empire, you murdered our diplomats. You declared war on peace itself. Now you will learn why humanity survived every challenge our world threw at us. Now you will understand why we feared ourselves more than any alien threat. The warriors are coming. War had begun. The rising fury. The holographic displays in Earth's strategic command painted a grim picture of the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire controlled vast swaths of space, their fleet outnumbering humanity's 20-1. By all conventional metrics, Earth didn't stand a chance. Admiral Chen Wei studied the tactical readouts with calculating eyes. Around him, the Joint Chiefs of Earth's military forces gathered, each representing different aspects of humanity's war machine. Their technology is superior in raw power, General Netasha Volkov reported. Their shields can withstand our standard plasma weapons, and their hull composition is unlike anything we've encountered. But they're predictable. Admiral Samantha Rodriguez, Alina's younger sister, interjected. Her eyes burned with barely contained fury. Their tactics haven't changed in millennia. They rely on overwhelming force and intimidation. Chen nodded. Then we don't fight their war. We fight ours. The first principle of human warfare, when outmatched, change the rules. Deep in the archives of Earth's military history, strategists unearthed every unconventional tactic ever conceived. Guerrilla warfare, asymmetric combat, psychological operations. Humanity's long history of fighting stronger opponents would be their guide. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the Advanced Weapons Division, presented her team's work. We've made a breakthrough with the quantum torpedoes. By modulating the warhead frequency, we can bypass their shields entirely. And the nanoswarms? Chen asked. Ready for deployment. They'll eat through their hull material like acid through paper. Meanwhile, across human space, something unexpected occurred. The murder of Ambassador Rodriguez had sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Smaller species, long oppressed by Zephyrian dominance, began reaching out to Earth. The Kren Collective, master shipbuilders, offered their expertise. The Thaxian Republic, experts in energy weapons, shared their technology. The enigmatic Void Walkers provided intelligence on Zephyrian fleet movements. They're afraid, Ambassador John Matthews reported from the Galactic Council. The Zephyrians have bullied the galaxy for too long. Now they see a chance for change. Within weeks, humanity's war effort transformed from a solitary crusade to a coalition of the willing. The Zephyrians had unwittingly created their own opposition through centuries of arrogance. The first major engagement came at the Proxima Nebula. A Zephyrian battle group, confident in their superiority, moved to intercept what they believed was a small human scout force. Admiral Rodriguez commanded the operation personally. As the Zephyrian dreadnoughts approached, she sprung her trap. Execute Operation Phantom, she ordered. Hidden within the nebula's sensor-distorting gases, 300 human stealth fighters powered up. Unlike the massive capital ships favored by the Zephyrians, these were small, fast, and equipped with the new quantum torpedoes. The battle lasted 15 minutes. The Zephyrian fleet, designed to combat other dreadnoughts in formal engagements, found themselves swarmed by vessels too small for their main guns to track. Quantum torpedoes phased through their shields, detonating inside their ships. When the nebula cleared, debris was all that remained of the Zephyrian force. The victory sent shockwaves through the Empire. For the first time in recorded history, a Zephyrian battle group had been completely destroyed. Emperor Zalthax responded with fury, ordering massive retaliation against human colonies. But humanity had anticipated this. Earth's colonies had been evacuated to hidden locations. What the Zephyrians found were empty worlds rigged with antimatter mines. 3 Imperial fleets were lost before they learned to approach human territories with caution. As the war progressed, humanity unveiled more innovations. The Prometheus arrays, massive energy weapons powered by artificial stars, could crack planets. The Spectre stealth ships could infiltrate any system undetected. The Hydra defense platforms could split into thousands of combat drones. But perhaps most terrifying was humanity's mastery of information warfare. AI systems penetrated Zephyrian networks, sowing chaos and misinformation. Psychological operations turned their rigid society against itself. 6 months into the war, High Chancellor Vexthor met with the Emperor in the Imperial throne room. "Your Excellency, we must seek terms," he pleaded, his skin pale with fear. "The humans fight like nothing we've encountered. They don't follow the rules of civilized warfare." "Silence," Zalthax roared. "We are the Zephyrian Empire. we do not yield to primitives. But the numbers didn't lie. In half a year, humanity and its allies had destroyed 30% of the Imperial fleet, while losing only 5% of their own forces. Zephyrian supply lines were in chaos. Their economy was crumbling. The turning point came at the Battle of the Varuna Cluster. The Zephyrians had massed their largest fleet ever, over 1,000 ships, to crush the human advance. Admiral Chen himself led the human forces. As the two fleets approached, he broadcast a message on all channels. Zephyrian Empire, you had a chance for peace. You chose murder. Now witness the fury of a species that has survived ice ages, plagues, and wars that scared our world. We are humanity. We are your reckoning. What followed was the largest space battle in galactic history. Human tactics, refined through months of combat, proved devastating. Stealth ships disabled command vessels. Quantum torpedoes bypassed shields. Nanoswarms consumed hull plating. But the masterstroke was the deployment of the Singularity Bomb, a weapon so dangerous that Earth's own scientists had argued against its use. As the Zephyrian fleet regrouped for a final assault, a single human frigate made a suicide run into their formation. At its heart, the bomb activated. Reality itself tore apart. A miniature black hole formed, its gravitational forces ripping through the Zephyrian fleet. Ships were crushed, torn apart, or sucked into oblivion. When the Singularity finally collapsed, 80% of the Zephyrian armada was gone. The Empire reeled from the loss. Across their territories, subject species rose in rebellion. The coalition grew stronger as more races joined humanity's cause. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zalfax finally understood the magnitude of his error. He had not merely killed a diplomat. He had awakened a force that would reshape the galaxy. But it was too late for regrets. The humans were coming for Zephyr Prime itself, and nothing in the Empire's arsenal could stop them. As Admiral Chen's fleet prepared for the final assault, he received a message from President Santos. Finish it. Show the galaxy that humanity extends the hand of friendship once. Only once. The siege of Zephyr Prime was about to begin, and with it, the final chapter of the Zephyrian Empire's long history, the Reckoning. The assembled fleet that surrounded Zephyr Prime defied imagination. Human warships formed the core, their angular designs stark against the void, but they were joined by vessels from 24 species. The Kren's organic battlecruisers, the Thaxian energy lattices, the Voidwalker shadow ships, all united in purpose. Admiral Chen Wei stood on the bridge of the ESS Retribution, humanity's newest and most powerful dreadnought. The ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, incorporating every lesson learned from the war. Status report, he commanded. All coalition forces in position. Commander Lisa Park responded. The Zephyrian home fleet has formed a defensive sphere around the planet. They're broadcasting demands for our surrender. Chen allowed himself a grim smile. Their arrogance remains intact, even now. The battle plan was audacious, even by human standards. Rather than a direct assault, they would use the Empire's rigid thinking against them. Begin Operation Trojan, Chen ordered. From the coalition fleet, hundreds of small pods launched, each appearing to be escape vessels. The Zephyrian defenders, following standard protocol, moved to capture what they believed were surrendering forces. Inside each pod was not refugees, but specialized nanoswarms programmed to infiltrate and disable Zephyrian systems. As the pods were brought aboard enemy ships, the swarms activated. Chaos erupted in the Zephyrian fleet. Ships lost power. Weapons went offline. Life support systems failed. The rigid command structure that had served the Empire for millennia became its greatest weakness as communication networks collapsed. Phase 2, Chen announced. All ships, execute attack pattern Hydra. The coalition fleet split into dozens of smaller battle groups, each targeting specific weaknesses in the collapsing Zephyrian defense. Human stealth frigates appeared from nowhere, quantum torpedoes finding their marks with devastating precision. But the Zephyrians weren't finished. From the planet's surface, Ancient defense systems activated, weapons from the Empire's golden age, powered by the planet's core itself. Beams of antiproton energy lanced through space, vaporizing coalition ships. Gravity weapons twisted spacetime, crushing vessels in invisible fists. "We're taking heavy losses," Commander Park reported. Chen's expression remained calm. "Activate the Prometheus array." In high orbit, a massive human construction revealed itself. The Prometheus array was humanity's ultimate weapon, a solar-focusing system that could channel the power of stars themselves. The array fired, its beam striking Zephyr Prime's largest moon. The satellite didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, converted entirely to energy. The shockwave disrupted the planetary defense grid, creating an opening. "All ground forces, commence landing operations," Chen ordered. Thousands of dropships descended through the chaos, carrying not just human soldiers but warriors from every coalition species. The Zephyrians had never faced a ground invasion of their homeworld. Such a thing was unthinkable in their ordered universe. Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Chen led the primary assault force. His troops were equipped with the latest human combat armor, augmented with alien technologies. They landed in the capital city's governmental district. The fighting was brutal. Zephyrian guards, each a giant compared to humans, fought with desperate fury. But human soldiers had trained for this, using agility and cunning against raw strength. "Remember," Marcus broadcast to his troops, "we're not here to destroy. We're here to end this war." In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zalthax watched his empire crumble. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Subject worlds declaring independence, fleet admirals surrendering, entire sectors falling to the coalition. High Chancellor Vexthor entered the throne room, his skin fluctuating between colors of defeat and desperation. "Your Excellency," he began, but Zalthax cut him off. "You," the Emperor snarled, "you convinced me to murder their diplomat. You said they would cower, that they would accept our dominance." I miscalculated," Vexthor stammered. "No, you destroyed us." Zalthax activated his personal guard, elite warriors gene-engineered for absolute loyalty. "Take him. He will face human justice for his crime." As Vexthor was dragged away, the Emperor accessed the palace's ancient systems. If the Empire was to fall, he would ensure its secrets didn't fall into enemy hands. But as he initiated the self-destruct sequence, the screens went dark. A human face appeared, Dr. Yuki Tanaka. "Did you really think we wouldn't anticipate this?" she asked. "Your systems have been compromised for weeks. The war is over, Emperor. Surrender, and we'll show you the mercy you denied our ambassador." Outside, the battle for the capital reached its climax. Human forces had secured most strategic points, but pockets of resistance remained. Then, across all channels, came the Emperor's voice. "Forces of the Zephyrian Empire, I command you to cease hostilities. The war is lost." The words seemed to break something fundamental in the Zephyrian psyche. Soldiers laid down their arms. Ships powered down their weapons. An empire that had endured for 10,000 years ended not with a bang, but with a whisper. Admiral Chen personally led the delegation to accept the surrender. In the throne room, where Elena Rodriguez had been murdered, he faced Emperor Zalthax. "Your terms?" the Emperor asked, his skin now a dull gray of defeat. "Dissolution of the Empire," Chen stated. "Each world will choose its own path. Reparations to all species you've oppressed, and justice for those responsible for the murders that started this war. And my people will be free to rebuild, to join the galactic community as equals, not overlords." Chen's voice softened slightly. "We didn't come to destroy you. We came to end your tyranny." The formal surrender was signed in the same chamber where the war began. High Chancellor Vexthor was turned over to face trial for war crimes. The Zephyrian Empire was officially dissolved, its territories becoming independent or joining the new galactic coalition. In the months that followed, Humanity surprised the galaxy once more. Instead of claiming dominion, they helped rebuild. Human engineers worked alongside former enemies to restore damaged worlds. Human diplomats negotiated fair treaties between former subject species. The Zephyrians, humbled by defeat, began to change. Their rigid society slowly embraced new ideas, new possibilities. Many came to see their defeat not as an end, but as a liberation from their own stagnation. A year after the war's end, a memorial was unveiled on Earth's moon. It bore the names of Elena Rodriguez and her team, along with every coalition soldier who died in the conflict. The inscription read, "They died for peace. We fought for justice. Let the galaxy remember. Humanity offers friendship once, but answers treachery with steel." Admiral Chen, now retired, stood before the memorial with Admiral Rodriguez. Together, they watched as ships from 100 worlds passed overhead in formation. Former enemies, now allies in a new galactic order. "Do you think Elena would approve?" Samantha Rodriguez asked quietly. Chen considered the question. She believed in peace through understanding. "We achieved it through strength, but in the end, we built the galaxy she envisioned, one where no empire can murder with impunity." Among the visiting dignitaries was a young Zephyrian, his skin showing the blues and greens of genuine respect. He approached the two admirals and bowed deeply. "I am Vextar, nephew of the former High Chancellor," he said. "I came to say what my people should have said long ago. We were wrong. Thank you for ending our darkness." As the ceremony concluded, President Santos addressed the gathered representatives. "Let this monument stand as a reminder. We are a young species, but we carry old wisdom. We know the cost of war, so we cherish peace. We understand loss, so we value life. Cross us at your peril, but stand with us, and we will move stars for you." The galaxy had learned a profound lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. They could be the gentlest friends or the fiercest enemies. The choice was yours. And somewhere among the stars, other ancient empires took note. The age of human expansion had begun, not through conquest, but through the simple, irrefutable fact that when pushed, humanity pushed back harder. The war was over. A new era had dawned, and at its heart stood a species that had proven once, and for all that in the vast cosmos, it was not the oldest or the strongest that survived, but those most capable of change. Humanity had changed the galaxy forever, and this was only the beginning.